William Ruto. So the last thing I want us to talk about before we finish with this matter is what you are calling consensus.
Yeah.
Tonight we promised our viewers we are going to try and decode what you have been saying. What exactly would amount to consensus for you? At what point do you say now this is consensus?
There are consensus on three issues.
Whichever one of them.
No, I'm
all
just
of
saying
them.
Consensus on content, consensus on process, and consensus on timing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. We have almost concluded the consensus on content. You know, we've traveled a huge chunk of the way. What we are just asking is, why don't we get the Judicial Service Commission to do a process, nominate the ombudsman, he be taken to Senate, approved by the Senate, appointed by the President. That way, the judiciary will not feel somebody has been parachuted to them. It's a simple thing. Number two, and I'm saying, just finalizing the content, we've also said we agree completely with the 70 seats, that there are 70 additional constituencies, because indeed there are areas that are underrepresented. The equality of representation is a cardinal principle of any democracy, and that's why we support the 70 seats, and that is why we canvassed
in 2027.
No, we canvassed. Even those 70 were initially, they were nominations, but we said nominations will benefit an individual, but constituencies will benefit people through representation and through resources. And we are very happy that it was changed. We are only asking that 70, within that 70, maybe the IEBC be allowed to vary by up to 15 or 20%, so that we take care of some outlying areas, like the complaints we have in Kitui, in Ijara, in Garissa, in Wajir South, in Marsabit, in Kinangop here, in Kieni. Kieni is a huge constituency, for example, and in Migori. So we are accepting
just
in principle.
Let me understand this.
Just to tidy up.
So you are saying you would like those other people to accept all the things that you're asking now for it to be, because it has to be give and take. What are you willing to give?
No, but we are saying, if what we are saying is reasonable, and I believe it is reasonable. For example, Joe, we are saying women should be brought back to National Assembly for 3 reasons. Number one, we make women representation as elective as possible, not nominations. Number two, we must give women an opportunity to be nominated to cabinet, because cabinet now is being nominated from the National Assembly. We must give women the opportunity to participate in the serious business that is going on in the National Assembly, especially on matters, resources of our nation. And we must give women the opportunity to continue the good job they are doing with national government.
But
you see, those are reasonable things. And everybody I have talked to think, yeah, maybe we are disenfranchising women if we tell them go to Senate and they are not present in the National Assembly, and yet we have brought part of the government into the National Assembly. I think it makes sense.
Do they also tell you it makes sense to have that benefit in 2027, not 2022?
You see, Joe, we are making these proposals. We are not saying all these proposals must. We're not saying must.
Which is why I was asking, at what point?
Any proposal that is reasonable, like the other proposals we have made, they were looked at favorably, and because I trust President Uhuru Kenyatta to look at something, and when he sees sense, he goes for the sense and the reason, and I hope that this is the process we are getting into. It's not that we are trying to be belligerent. You know, we're trying to put issues, and if they have merit, they should be considered on their merit. Then number two, on process, we are saying, Joe, surely, let's just step back. Parliament is already considering a referendum bill that has options, even before we said it. Having options is not something that is going to be unique to Kenya. I have told you, next week on 10th, Liberia will be going for a referendum together with an election in Liberia with 3 different options. Many countries have done this with different options, and it's just good, you know.
Which of these things are you willing to compromise on?
I mean, if you can persuade us that any of this is not reasonable, so you have
to be persuaded. There is no problem. Every one of them for you to say this is consensus.
We are putting these things on the table. We are responsible Kenyans, especially like for me. I have a duty as Uhuru Kenyatta's deputy to assist him and to do the most that I can so that this project, which he is leading, succeeds and comes out with as best a result as is possible. That's the job of our deputy president, to assist my boss.
I understand.
And also, because I know he believes that we should not divide this country. That is why, even at this late hour, I am pushing that the best way not to divide this country to yes and no, winners and losers, all or nothing, is to take this thing to a referendum with 5 items or 6 items. Let Kenyans choose. That way, you can say it's yes to 3, no to 2, yes to 4, something like that. And then we count the votes. And that's what happens world over.
I'm just trying to understand, because this is a process that is political in nature. Most people that are talking, yourself included, are political leaders that people listen to. So the question I'm asking is, are you saying tonight that all those issues you raised out there yesterday, if
there are only 4.
If those 4 questions, if all of those 4 issues are not resolved in the manner that you'd like them to be resolved, then you are not part of what's going to happen with the referendum?
That's not what we are saying, Joe. You know, we are making our contribution. We are patriotic Kenyans. We are persuading the other side.
How many of them are you willing?
We are optimistic. You know, when I spoke, for example, in Bomas, I was not expecting that everything is going to be taken on board. And in fact, not everything was taken on board. But that does not stop me from doing the right thing. And that's why I said yesterday, and I'm again telling you today, and I'm telling every Kenyan, it is never too late to do the right thing.
We speak to a lot of people, including a lot of people who support you. And the question I'm asking tonight, even on their behalf, is as follows.
Yes, sir.
What would it take for William Samoei Ruto to take part in the referendum that is coming up whenever it comes up?
I am already taking part by making this contribution.
You said you're not going to be part of something that, in your view, divides Kenyans.
But, so but we are not there.
I want to understand.
We are not there.
What it would take out of the 4, because those
I am not there. By the way, already we have made huge progress. There are some outstanding issues. I believe that reason will prevail because we are dealing with intelligent, responsible, caring people, so that we can agree. Even if we agree midway, we have no problem. We can also agree on process.
So you're saying there's some that you can compromise?
If we agree,
you don't have to get your way in all of them.
We don't have to get our way on everything. If we agree, for example, on a multiple choice, it is another way of making sure that even if we didn't agree on some of the major things, then the people can choose from the buffet that will be presented.
Let me ask.
Finally, we are also saying, let us agree on whether to hold the election now or to hold, not the election, but the referendum, whether to hold the referendum now or to hold it along the election in 2022.
Let's talk about
it. Is a proposal we are making.
Let's talk about the process of that consensus then that you're talking about, because 2 days ago you tweeted and said, I have a constitutional duty to assist my boss, the president. We've made improvements to the BBI post-Bomas, now working on consensus for Kenyans to have real choices. I'm interested in this working. What exactly are you doing working on the consensus?
We spent almost 7 hours yesterday working, trying to hammer out a proposal.
To be fair, that was an echo chamber. Those are people who kind of share the same view. That's why you were out there saying the same thing.
Absolutely not.
But what I am saying,
absolutely not.
No, they were behind that statement.
By the way, we had a big debate for 4 hours. I mean, these are reasonable people. These are not cows. You know, they are not just following.
No, I understand.
These are people who are intelligent.
I
they are
understand
elected.
That. My point is
they represent people.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So where does it go from here?
So we have taken into account the progress that has been made. We have said there are still outstanding issues. We have put them on the table for others
but which table, Bwana DP?
For others
which
to
table?
consider.
Which table?
For others to consider.
Which table? Because as far as I am concerned, because I see what is happening, and I'm sure you do, there is President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
There is former Prime Minister Raila Odinga.
Yeah.
The two people who started the handshake, and they are pushing this BBI issue very actively.
And they are very reasonable people, by the way.
Then there is the BBI Secretariat.
Absolutely.
So I want to understand practically tonight from you, what is that step that you're taking in terms of engaging directly with any of these people to make sure that what you said out here actually goes into that? Because unless you're saying
for your
you're hoping they watched you and they will do something.
No. For your information, Joe, I am more responsible than that. So, I, as a matter of duty, I consult, take advice, take direction regularly with the President of Kenya because he's my boss. And I have a duty to advise him on all these things, right? So don't just assume that I am just talking gas. I'm not.
So you are advising him.
I am way.
So you are advising him on BBI.
Too responsible to do that.
So you're advising him on BBI when we are not
on all these matters. They are important to the country.
So you're advising the president of BBI as well.
And there are channels for us to consult and to make sure that we are taking the country in the direction that we are united. And part of the reason why I do not have the luxury to take this decision or go this way, you know, many people imagine, William Ruto is going to take this decision. You know, my friend, beyond William Ruto, I'm also Deputy President of Kenya, and I have a huge responsibility on my shoulders. Even as I tell you about the situation of the economy, it's because I know many of the other people who are running these processes and talking, they do not have the information that President Uhuru Kenyatta and I have. So I know what I'm saying, in short. And that's why I'm ready for us to build consensus on the content, to build consensus on the process, to build consensus on whether we want to have this referendum now or in 2022. And we should talk as reasonable people. We are Kenyans. This is our country. Even as people say, oh, you know, the bus has left the station, I don't know, the door has been shut. I mean, why you left the station going where? This is our country, my friend. And it is never too late to do the right thing. I am of the firm view that if what we are saying on its merit is something that can be considered, we can republish this bill before the signatures are presented to IEBC. We can mobilize Parliament to provide the law for us to have a consensus referendum where we are not boxing Kenyans into yes, no, we are giving Kenyans real options. In fact, if you read my tweet correctly, I have said real.
Yes, I quoted that. I'm not
real
going there,
options.
I was just worried about the process, the work that you're doing towards the consensus. And now that you bring up the issue of the president, a few years ago, February last year, I think it was, when you were in London and you're speaking to the BBC, and you told Stephen Saka that your relationship with the president at that point was rock solid. You wouldn't say that today, would you?
Why wouldn't I say that?
But we have seen many indications to it. The first one, the other day, you were missing from the COVID-19 conference. You said COVID is very important, but your empty seat had to be removed. Doesn't it bother you that things like that give an impression of disrespect to your boss, who you say you have a rock-solid relationship with?
For your information, Joe, there was a reason why I was not there. There was also a reason why I wasn't in KICC. And all those reasons are reasons that are valid.
Clearly, those people who put you in the program didn't know those reasons.
I am very careful when it comes to attendance of my duties. I'm very careful.
Clearly, those people who had the program with your name on it, see, and the seat didn't know you were not coming.
That's okay. You know, it doesn't. You can be absent with a reason,
which no one acknowledged there.
Oh, is that so? Are you aware that no one acknowledged
the reason that you were not there?
No. Did you find out who from anybody?
No, I mean,
you're just assuming.
No, publicly.
What you're doing is you are assuming.
The normal thing,
and you see, you are
when you attend meetings, you'll be told so and so has sent an apology.
To discuss my relationship with my boss, which is not a place I discourage you from going there. The relationship between me and my boss.
Only to the extent that relationship is interfering, at least publicly, with the perception of that national unity.
Let us forget about perception.
That perception is reality.
No. Let me tell you.
Because you talked about Article 131, about symbol of national unity.
Yes.
The moment the public out here sees what looks like a difference between you and the president, it causes a rift. And you've been talking about unity.
And for your information, the president has never told anybody, in private or public, that William Ruto has absconded from duty. Neither have I complained that I have a problem with the president. Why would you?
I just cited an example that gave that.
But it's an example you don't have any facts about. It's an assumption you make.
The fact that we saw was that you were there, the president was there, you were supposed to introduce the president.
You are chasing the wind there. I think my good brother, Joe, the relationship between me and President Uhuru Kenyatta is not a subject of any discussion. That is, he's my boss, and you never discuss your boss.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move to the party. This is going to be the final one.
Yes, Joe.
And a few months ago, you were at the party headquarters, and there was quite a scenario there. The president was out of the country, and you showed up with some MPs who hadn't been quite to the party headquarters for perhaps 2-3 years. And we saw rather unusual developments there. We later saw the Secretary General of the party making quite some interesting remarks to the effect that you had gone there to promote activities of a breakaway faction. When we spoke here 2 months ago, you said that Jubilee was not running properly. That was a sign, I think. Has anything changed?
Well, again, I have raised my issues with the secretariat of the party. My presence in Jubilee headquarters is not news. Jubilee headquarters is the party where I am the deputy party leader. For anybody to raise any issue about my presence in Jubilee headquarters is completely to miss the point. In fact, I will be making many more trips to Jubilee headquarters because we need to prepare the party for the future. And there will be, people talking, because we run a huge party, and there will be people who have these ideas, others have that, other different ideas, which sometimes is usual in political parties. But we are cut for that kind of a job. We will manage the issues of the party.
Yeah, but that was a lot more than just people uncomfortable with you going there, because we saw even a very public difference of opinion within the party about the position that Jubilee needed to take with regard to the Msambweni by-election, where you publicly said that that would not have been your view, yet the party said they're not going to take part.
No, it's not that. It's some officials had made, and they had already made a decision without my knowledge, but which is sometimes okay. But when I went there
on a big issue like fielding a candidate,
well, sometimes it happens. So you saw some of our members, for example, when we had a candidate in Kibera, some of our members went to campaign for a different candidate. So sometimes things like those happen in the party. And I said then that though my views would have been different, that we needed to field a candidate in Msambweni, since a decision had been made, I decided, okay, let's go with that decision. So it therefore means members of our party can therefore choose whoever they want to vote for, now that the party did not have a candidate. And that is what's going on. So there is no big issue. Let's not make hay out of nothing.
When I asked you in August, you said the party was not functioning properly. Has that changed?
It still has challenges, but there are challenges that we can overcome. They are not major challenges. These are challenges we can overcome.
Are you still running for president?
That is a decision that will be made further down the road. For the moment, I am deputy president. I have a job to do, and I am focused on doing it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joe, and I hope we have agreed on this, that the issues we are raising, William Ruto has nothing personal to gain or lose in this referendum. I have absolutely...
I'm sure you know that nothing. The agreement you need is not with me, but
no, I'm just saying,
I hear your point.
so that people don't think that we are pushing. My only stake in this referendum is, number one, to make sure that if we are changing the constitution, we are changing the constitution in a manner to make it go forward, not go backwards. Number two is that we must do it in a manner that does not divide Kenyans. And that is my responsibility. Okay. And most of that is because I also have a duty to support and assist my boss, who is driving this process, to make sure that the right thing happens.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joe.
All right. Thank you very much for watching our interview here. We've been speaking to the Deputy President of Kenya, William Ruto, speaking about the BBI and related events. Thank you very much. We'll now take a short break, and Wahiga Maura will be back with the day's business news.